25,000 men and women work for the UK border police. At home and abroad, their job is to seek out the lawbreakers and imposters who don't act like them. They are the UK police. Tonight, Stowaways get boxed in at Calais.
You right there, gentlemen? Where are you from? Afghanistan.
Illegal workers with incredible stories.
You say you arrived last night on a lorry and you walked straight in here to a job and he says he's 15.
And a bad reaction to being stopped at Heathrow.
I've never been violated. My clothes have never been thrown out.
You're not going to calm down. I'll put it back in the holding room.
Now you're talking to me. I've been here since 11 o'clock.
Calais in northern France is the port most favoured by migrants trying to enter Britain. UK border agency officers work round the clock checking for clandestines, illegal immigrants stowing away in freight.
We will have a look.
They find
just to make
19,000 clandestines a year who have managed to slip past truck drivers and hide in their luggage.
You may get a penalty for bringing clandestines into the UK control zone. Before you come here, check your vehicle yourself.
The port is a pressure point, with an estimated 1,000 migrants waiting for their chance to get to Britain and living in a squatter camp they call the jungle. Here the clandestines swap information and plot their next attempt to cross the channel illegally. They play a cat and mouse game with the UK border agency. Part of a team starting the early shift are immigration officers Lee Harper and Jules Turner.
Clear the rear.
They know the tricks commonly used by clandestines.
A big seal.
They've stopped a lorry that looks like it's been tampered with and want the driver to open up.
Well, what he's done is just gone to take his padlock off, and as he's taking the padlock off, he's actually noticed that it's broken. So it could be an indication that someone's cut the padlock and glued it back together basically and gone through the side door. But we won't actually know until we open the door and go in ourselves.
We're going to open it.
The truck's load is yogurts, and inside it's as cold as a fridge.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You cold?
Yeah, you're cold.
Hello. Shoes on. Shoes. Put your shoes on.
Oh, God. I'm getting yoghurt all over me. Okay, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Sammy? Got 12.
12, all right.
12 people that we can see at the moment in the back of the lorry.
But there are more hiding in the corner at the back.
Sammy?
Yeah.
Can you make that 17?
17, okay.
Where are you from?
Afghanistan.
Afghanistan?
Yes.
All of you?
Only bro.
Okay.
One chance.
Not today, my friend.
For every clandestine found, the driver can face a penalty of £2,000, so it's in his interest to keep his vehicles secure.
Because I don't park outside on the street, I park inside on the services and pay the €7 for the parking.
Although the driver parked in a secure area, 17 Afghans managed to break into his truck, and it would appear an accomplice fixed the padlock from the outside.
I've used a pair of bolt cutters on it. And what it looks like they've done is just push it straight back in and maybe even glued it together so it looks like it's a whole padlock again.
For the clandestines, getting caught is an occupational hazard. Some will keep on having a go, however long it takes.
How many times have you tried?
1 year.
You've been here a year?
Yeah, 1 year. The jungle.
You stay in the jungle?
Yeah. Crazy.
Crazy?
Yeah, 1 year.
I think a lot of them have been through it before. We find the same people time and time again at the moment because obviously our controls are much stronger than they have been in a long time. So we are seeing the same faces. So they know the routine as well as we do.
For failing to prevent 17 clandestines from breaching his truck security, the driver was fined £1,700. The freight company was fined £2,500. Clandestines rarely carry travel documents and so avoid being removed from France. They are simply escorted from the port and are free to return to their makeshift camp. Despite living in appalling conditions, the clandestines believe the jungle is a better option than the countries they are fleeing.
My family is very poor, so I have 5 brothers and sisters, and my parents are old, they can't do jobs, so that's why I come here to Europe, so I can help them.
This man has traveled from Kashmir in search of a better life, and like all the clandestines, he imagines the UK is the place to find it.
If I go over there, I will marry. After marrying, I will get paper. After paper, I will get job. I will have a house, have a child, and have a family, and have a peaceful life.
But for those who do make it across the Channel, life in Britain can often fall short of the dream. Coming up, the enforcement team catch up with a clandestine repeat offender.
It doesn't justify you coming here for the second time illegally, does it? Why would you think that would be right?
And a case of deception at Heathrow.
You said that you met him 10 years ago in New York.
I did not say I met him 10 years ago in New York.
You said you met him 10 years ago in New York. I've got it written down here.
The UK Border Agency man all entry points into Britain to make sure only legitimate travellers get into the country. But some get through illegally, and many visitors stay longer than they should. It's estimated there are up to 1 million illegal immigrants living in the UK. Today in Stoke, an enforcement team led by immigration officer Phil Arthur is planning raids on car washes believed to be employing illegal workers.
This morning we're going to car washes, all very local to the office here. The first of which is Bubbles Hand Car Wash. When we enter, straight in, and it's going to be very dynamic, guys. We want to get right out of the vehicles and straight into them. Okay, thanks ladies and gentlemen, see you out there.
Enforcement teams around Britain have their work cut out keeping tabs on car washes. They are start-up businesses that can appear overnight and offer low-paid casual work, appealing to workers who are not entitled to be here.
Most city centres nowadays have quite a lot of these establishments. The problem is that at the end of the day, these people are either illegally in the UK and or illegally working in the UK.
It's usually Afghans, Iraqis, that's the sort of person we get working illegally. So we don't expect these people to be paid the minimum wage, don't expect any working time directives to be met by the employer. It's just a case of exploitation once again. It's trying to shut these places down.
A car wash is the kind of place clandestines who've beaten the checks in Calais can end up working. It can be a far cry from the life they hoped for in Britain.
Watch your feet, Carl, and they're slippy, mate.
Hello there, sir. How are you? We're from immigration.
Okay, we've got a warrant issued by the courts to be here this morning. You just need to establish your identity, nationality and status in the UK, all right?
There are 3 employees. If they have the right to work in the UK, they should be known to the Home Office.
Okay, you come this way then. When were you born? Yeah, Pakistan. Are you illegal or illegal in the UK? Legal. You have a visa?
Yeah. I am stay here in this country.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Checks against the database confirm this man has a British wife and is allowed to work, and that his Pakistani colleague has indefinite leave to remain in the UK. But the records relating to the third worker are less straightforward. He has a checkered history with the Border Force.
The last time you entered the UK, when was that?
Yeah, he's okay. Yeah.
About 1 month ago.
The man was caught living illegally in Britain 2 years ago. He opted for AVR, Assisted Voluntary Return, a European scheme that gave him a free flight home and £500 cash.
The AVR a month later got married in Iraq to a British lady.
Okay.
He says he's come in a month ago again after voluntarily returning.
After the man was returned to Iran, he travelled to Iraq and married a British woman. He then came back to the UK, hidden in the back of a lorry.
How did he come in? Did he say it's okay?
Yeah,
he came in illegally, even though he's married and he's...
Yeah, he apparently he's applied to come in legally and not been allowed.
Right.
So he's come in illegally.
So he's coming in illegally and he's living with his wife at
He's
this moment
living with his wife in Silverdale.
Officer Sean Flaherty wants to know why the man took AVR, only to come back again as an illegal entrant.
We have laws for a reason. You apply for a visa, you're refused a visa, and then you completely decide to disregard UK law and enter the country illegally. Why would you think that would be right at all?
Nothing else I could do.
Stay in your country.
I would stay in my country. Just how about if my wife, if she didn't stay with me? If she doesn't like it, the culture, she didn't like it, the religion, she didn't like it, the nothing, you know.
If your wife's got difficulties living there for whatever reasons, then that's between you and your wife. But it doesn't justify you coming here for the second time illegally, does it? If you refuse a visa, it means you're not being allowed to come into the United Kingdom. It doesn't mean, here's a green light, go and get in the back of a lorry and come in illegally. That's not the way it works.
I'm arresting you now as an illegal entrant to the UK. You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention, when questioned, something you later rely on in court. Would you like to stand up for me? This gentleman's just going to give you a quick search.
Okay. He did return to Iran originally under the voluntary assisted removal programme. A majority of voluntary removals under that programme do get a financial assistance to reintegrate back in their own country. So he's had that, possibly. And then he comes back in illegally. Not going to get a refund, are we?
Hi. You the owner? I spoke to you on the phone. Yes. I'm Carl. I'm an immigration officer, okay?
Right. If the owner of the car wash can't prove he's made the required checks on the man, he could be fined up to £10,000 for employment.
If you want, he's married with the English woman, right? She comes every day here to pick him up.
I fully understand that, sir, and I don't have a problem. That's exactly what he's told us.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that unless you should keep a record and you should keep a copy for yourself.
Yeah, but
so that if a situation like this arises, then you can show us some copies of your...
the thing is, sir, right, this is not a big business, right?
No,
no.
Absolutely, fully understand that. How long have you been working here, sir?
About 5-6 months.
So 5-6 months is a long time not to have a record, isn't it?
I wasn't here. Yeah, but the thing is, right, don't get me wrong. I've been brought up in this country, like, if I've got a national insurance number, right?
Sure. It actually says on the card now, so do be aware of that. It's not proof of identity. Okay? Yeah. Okay, sir. Thank you very much for your time this morning.
The owner of the car wash was fined £5,000 for employing an illegal worker. And even though the man admitted to coming twice into the UK illegally, he was later released. He remains on reporting conditions while the Home Office consider his case. But the day is young, and the team have another car wash in their sights. In Calais, hundreds of migrants gather near the port and live rough in the jungle, their camp in the woods outside town. In their eyes, it's the last stop before realizing their dream to cross the channel illegally and reach the UK. With 3,000 lorries passing through every day, there are plenty of opportunities to hitch an illicit ride. Chief Immigration Officer Tammy Richer and her team offer up a line of defence.
Some assistance on 4, please.
They check trucks waiting to board the ferries. They use carbon dioxide probes to detect clandestines breathing inside.
That's good.
Officer Richer gets word that colleagues have found some clandestines.
How many have you got? 7.
A high CO2 reading gave them away, hiding in a consignment of alcohol. Officer Darren Stamati is on hand to escort them off the load.
7. clandestines at the moment, Afghanistan's. Generally what happens, whenever we enter a load, they ask us if one chance to go to the UK. I don't know why they think that they're going to get that, but I think they just try it. They always seem to be in fairly good spirits, but that can change at any point because some of these people, they can be fairly desperate to get to the UK.
Just 2 at a time.
Can I have you and you, please? Can you move out to the vehicle? So where do you live in Calais?
Out of the jungle.
Yeah?
Yes. Under the tree. You know a tree?
Under the tree?
Yeah.
In the jungle? Yeah. 2 more? Okay. There's just this belief that in England, it's just a place they all seem to want to go to. They're not happy to stay here. They just want to go to England. Yes. Why do you want to go to England?
Because problem in Afghanistan, very big problem.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So why England?
Because, sir, I want to get knowledge in England.
You want to get knowledge?
Yes, sir. Study in England.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't you think you can get knowledge in France?
Yes, sir. They are not allowed to stay here, stay here in France.
Okay.
The situation in France is not good, sir.
The belief is in England it's easy to stay for a longer period of time. There's work there, whereas in France, I think they have an understanding they don't get to remain in the country for too long. They're happy to sort of live rough and just try and make a play for the UK. Okay, my friends? Go through, watch your head.
Yes.
Because 7 clandestines were found hiding in their load, the freight company was fined £2,800 and the driver £1,400. An average of 50 clandestines a day are stopped trying to cross the channel illegally at Calais. For as long as it remains difficult to deport them, the clandestines will keep returning to the jungle until their next attempt to get past the UK border agency. More than 10 million passengers a year arrive at Heathrow's Terminal 3. Most have a legitimate reason to come into the country.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you.
A few simple questions at passport control are usually enough to tell if a passenger's trying to hide something.
2 of you?
Officer Neil Newbury has been doing the job for 4 years and knows an unlikely story when he hears one. Today he stopped an American visitor who was flown in from New York via Toronto. The man says he's here for a 6-month holiday and to spend time with a friend.
We need to look into your reasons for coming to the UK in a little bit more detail. Okay, that's why you've been stopped today. All right? Sitting up here on,
he has
on the
no
control,
job in the US and little money.
Telephone.
So Officer Newbury suspects the real reason for his visit is to work.
Do you want to pop a couple of your bags up on the bench for the moment, please? Our passenger, he's 26 years old and he's only got about $450 on him. He decided to look like he's found all his clothes into 4 or 5 suitcases and come to the UK for a really long holiday with just a few $100s on him.
An American tourist is not allowed to work in Britain. Officer Newbury wants to know how the passenger will support himself for 6 months. He calls the passenger's sponsor, the friend he says he's here to stay with.
I need to understand, why are you offering to do all this for Jason? Okay, thanks for that, bye. He's known Jason only for a couple of years. He met in Germany while our sponsor was in the military over there. And Jason apparently was over there visiting friends. They met over there. They've stayed in touch for the last couple of years. The sponsor, he said he's quite happy to pay for everything, which isn't a problem, but I find it so strange that he's prepared to pay for everything for someone that he's known for just a couple of years.
Just news on that guy.
Jason?
Officer Newbury suspects he's not being told the whole truth. Now he wants to question the passenger about his financial dependence on the sponsor.
Are you happy for me to interview you?
No.
What's the problem?
I feel like I've been violated. I never felt
violated?
Like this in my life. Yes.
What have we done to violate you?
What?
What have we done to violate you?
First of all my clothes and stuff was taken out. Like
you never had your bag searched in a foreign country?
Not like that. my wallet. Everybody's been going through my wallet.
On this occasion, you're asking to spend a lot of time in this country, okay? And you don't have much money with you.
I wasn't. How do you know how much money I have in my account? My
I don't know. That's what
I told the lady.
That's what I'm going to start asking you now. So, are you happy for me to interview you?
No. But I'll answer the questions. I'm telling you that I'm not happy. But
I understand you're not happy, but are you prepared to be interviewed by me?
Yes, I'm prepared.
Okay, can you just tell me why you've come to the UK today?
You know, a lot of things been going on at home. I just lost my grandfather. I don't come from a good upbringing in my neighborhood. My friend's been killed and all of that. So I just want to take a vacation.
Where will you stay while you're in the UK?
With Will. He's a long-time friend of my family.
How long have you known Will?
So I've known him over 10 years.
Do you remember where you met him?
I met him in New York. That's where I'm from.
He's told us he's going to be supporting you for up to 6 months while you're in the UK.
Yeah.
Why does he have to support you?
I mean, whatever he's going to pay for, that's on him. But I got my own money.
Will also told me that he's only known you for about 2 years, not 10 years. And he met you in Germany in 2007. Now you've told me that you've known him for 10 years and you met in New York. So I'm a bit confused there as to...
I've known him for a while. I've known Will for a while.
10 years?
Maybe not 10 years, okay. Maybe not 10 years.
Where did you meet him?
In Germany.
You said you met him in New York.
I've met him in New York. He's been in New York before.
Yeah, that's not what I asked you. I asked you, where did you first meet him? You said, in New York. He was in New York, I was in New York.
You're confusing me with the questions. You're asking me, where did we meet? I'm telling you, I've met him in New York. I've also met him
You said that you met him 10 years ago in New York.
I did not say I met him 10 years ago in New York.
You said you met him 10 years ago in New York. I've got it written down here. That's one of the issues that we've got here. I'm trying to work out what these discrepancies are between yourself and this gentleman who's prepared to support you financially for the next 6 months.
I've been to Germany, I've been to Stockholm, I've been to different places, and I've never been violated. My clothes have never been thrown out. You put all my stuff out, then you told me to put all my stuff there. I'm waiting around. No one offered me anything until I got up in the room over there. No one's talking to me, no one's telling me nothing.
I'm talking to you now.
Now you're talking to me. I've been here since 11 o'clock.
If you're not going to calm down, I'll put you back in the holding room. I need to confirm the discrepancies between yourself and Will, okay? That's the issue, one of the issues here.
All right, I don't know Will for 10 years. I've only known him for a short period of time, for a couple of years, that's it.
You say you met in Germany?
Yes.
He's lying to me, you know, and when I caught him out, you know, that's when he started kicking off a little bit. If I was to act like that in America, the way he's been acting with me, you know, I won't get treated half as well as he's been treated since he arrived. Yeah. And Bambi quite appreciates that, to be honest. So he can throw his arms around as much as he wants, but it doesn't change the fact that I'm going to get to the bottom of this.
Coming up, another car wash in Stoke, where the truth is a grey area.
Can you ask your friend to confirm how old he is?
15. What?
15 years old, with grey hair.
And the Bangladeshi graduate with little to show for 6 years of studying.
Business work. That's a module in a postgraduate diploma is called business work.
At Heathrow, the American who's arrived for a 6-month holiday is waiting to hear if he'll be allowed into the UK. The passenger and his sponsor are telling two very different stories. Officer Newbury updates his boss, Sarah Dyson.
Now, there's big discrepancies about how long these two have known each other, where they met, okay? He believes Will is still in the military, but the sponsor hasn't been in the military for over a year.
They hardly know anything about
each other. They don't
know
him. He's estimated £3,500 to support our passenger for the next 6 months.
Don't believe a word.
No, I think he's telling me what he thinks I want to hear to land this passenger.
What I really am more interested in is his current domestic and financial circs in USA.
He did admit to me it's very hard to get a job in America at the moment, even with someone with a college degree.
The more accurate way of putting it is that he's currently unemployed without any fixed employment in the US. Okay, and he's not intending to work in the near future in the US because he's taken a plane here for 6 months. And I think we should give him one more opportunity to be straight. I want you to ask him for a straightforward explanation as to why they two of them cannot agree on how long they've known each other and where they met. And then come back and we'll make a final decision.
Okay. Follow me for a second. Just sit in the corner for me, okay? If it's possible, can you explain the discrepancies between what you're telling us and what Will's been telling us?
Because everything was just like, yo, I'm gonna come out there, blase, whatever. I didn't know that I was gonna be interrogated like this.
Yeah, but it's things like how long you've known each other and where you first met. You should know that kind of stuff if you know someone.
I made it seem like I knew him longer than what, but I know Will. Like, come on, man. Like, this is like, why would I take a flight to another country with a dude that I don't even know?
Well, that's the question that we've been asking, yeah?
Yeah, but I'm a grown man. I could make my own decisions. Like,
that's fine, but
like I know Will. I don't know him 10 years, but I know Will.
We have to go by what people tell us. When people tell us different things, makes us question everything that they're telling us. That's the issue here, okay?
Yes.
Okay. He said he was exaggerating. I said, why? I didn't think I'd be asked.
I don't think it's just this one discrepancy that concerns me, but it's this passenger's entire domestic circumstances. There is no doubt in my mind, I am satisfied that had he thought he could, he would have come here to find a job, and that was his primary intention in travelling to the UK. I don't consider him to be a visitor to this country or a tourist. I think you're going to need to refuse him entry.
Yep. Okay, Jason, you want to come out a second, please? Just stand here a second for me, okay? Well, I spoke to Chief Immigration Officer. I've told them what you've told me, and they've decided that on the evidence that we've got from you today and from Will today, you're going to be refused entry. Okay? So we're going to have to return you back to the US on the next available flight via Toronto. The next flight isn't until tomorrow at midday. Okay? Got to go through with Air Canada.
This is crazy.
Okay?
This is crazy, man.
So what we're going to do, we're going to get somewhere for you to get some shut-eye. Okay? You're not going to stay here overnight. We'll do whatever we can to get you somewhere a bit more comfortable. Yes. Wow, that's a relief.
The passenger was held in a detention centre overnight and put on a flight home the next day.
All right.
In Stoke, the enforcement team are going after illegal workers.
Okay guys, 30 seconds and we'll be there.
They've already made one arrest. Now they're about to surprise the employees of a second car.
Yeah, no worries. Morning. All right, with immigration and police, we've got a warrant to search these premises. Just need to get everybody's identity, nationality, and see where we go from there. All right, mate. Okay, guys, come this way.
The team round up the workers and use 2 rooms in the office to question them about their immigration status.
Okay, who've we got here then? Morning, speak English, lads? No?
English?
Any English at all?
Pushtu.
Okay.
One employee can speak English and he's happy to interpret his colleagues' incredible claims.
What's your date of birth?
He says, I don't know the day, but he's saying I'm 15 or 17, 15, 16, something like that.
50?
No, 50, 15.
50?
15, 1-5.
What?
He says that.
Alright then. Can you ask him what country he's born
They
in?
come here. He's from Afghanistan.
Can you ask your friend again to confirm how old he is?
He says 15.
15 years old?
Yeah.
With grey hair?
Can you just ask him his address for me?
He said, I've just come last night.
Can you just ask him how he got here to the UK?
He says, I've just come from to Calais from here in the lorry.
In a lorry?
Yeah.
Next door, another Afghani worker is being checked out.
Can you just ask the lad here?
Sorry?
What's his date of birth?
And it appears a common theme is emerging.
He says I'm 15.
15?
Yeah.
When did he arrive in the UK?
He says I'm coming last night.
And you say you arrived last night on a lorry, and you walked straight in here to a job first thing this morning? We've struggled to get a Pashto interpreter, so we've using the gentleman here who's been very helpful. We're speaking to this lad here, but he claims to have arrived here last night in the early hours of the morning on a lorry from France. And he says he's 15.
Me?
I'm arresting you on suspicion of entering the UK without leave. You don't have to say anything, but it may harm your defence. If you don't mention, when questioned, something which you later rely on in court.
You are now, Ismail, you are now under arrest.
Both men claiming to be 15 are arrested as they've admitted entering the country illegally. As they're claiming to be children, their ages will have to be assessed by the social services.
Just take that as written.
One of the remaining workers is a Pakistani national who is here on a student visa. However, he admits he is not doing any studying at all.
Claims he's only started working here today, so he's working but not studying. He gets paid £15 a day.
Yes, he will.
That's for 10 hours.
Despite seeking refuge in their own communities, illegal immigrants can find life in Britain very different from the dream. And for those who believe they've beaten the system, reality can hit at any time with the arrival of an enforcement team.
I'm going to arrest you now. He's not illegal entrance to the UK. You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence. You do not mention when questioned something you later rely on in court.
The Afghani who's been so helpful acting as an interpreter is a failed asylum seeker and should have left the UK. Now he faces the reality of going home.
I live long time in this country, no crime, nothing. But I can't live in Afghanistan now because if you saw me, my brain is already for here, not for Afghanistan. You see the.
I understand that, but you know when you're here illegally, there's always a chance that you'll be sent
I know
back.
I'm legal.
I appreciate what you're saying, but there's nothing I can say is going to help me now. Is it?
I do nothing. I just work, sleep, home. That's it. You know.
Morning's still young, really. I mean, there were 5 employees there, and we've taken 4 out. This guy who owns this place looking at, upwards of £40,000 in penalties, which is a considerable amount. Yeah, I'm quite satisfied actually. 5 out of a morning's work. Happy.
Okay guys, let's go.
The Afghani worker who helped to interpret won himself a reprieve. He put in a fresh application and was given permission to live in the UK. The student who was working instead of studying was detained and removed back to Pakistan. The 2 Afghani men claiming to be 15 were assessed to be over 18. One was detained and removed from the UK, but as the other had no travel documents, he was released on bail and has since absconded. The owner was fined £20,000. But targeting the people who make the serious money out of illegal working is not so easy.
The people who we encounter, they won't give us the names of the agents, they won't tell us the routes they come in, because they're more scared of the agents than they are of us. But these people don't see that they're being used and they're actually victims in all of this. They're being exploited, they've been paid peanuts, they've paid thousands of pounds to come to the UK. Unfortunately, very rarely we get them to speak to us and to give us better information so we can get to the heads of these organisations instead of just cherry picking these guys off all the time.
At Heathrow, a Bangladeshi man has been stopped at passport control after flying in with his new wife.
If you can just break down your colleges for me. So in 2003,
he has been living in the UK as a student for the last 6 years, attending 4 different colleges. But 3 of the 4 colleges are now known by the UK border agency to be bogus. Before his colleges were exposed as fake, the passenger got a place on the international graduate scheme which allows him to work.
Has my colleague explained the situation and the reasons that we've detained you?
Officer Tim Weatherall takes on the case.
The problem that we have.
He wants to find out if the man's qualifications are genuine.
He's aware he's in a bit of trouble, hence why we've stopped him. I would imagine that from the point of view as them as a couple, they're probably quite worried about the fact they're going to be separated, but you know, if she qualifies for entry, she will be allowed to proceed.
There's a lot at stake for the couple. The wife is eligible to enter the
video,
UK.
Is it, yeah?
She is American, and this is her first time here.
Just head round this way.
And she doesn't want to be without her new husband.
At the moment, if you wish to stay in here together, you can, or you can either proceed downstairs or you can wait outside. Okay, but I'm going to let you know now, if it's the case that you are refused entry after we've done our investigations, you won't have a choice, okay? You will be landed and you will be refused, so you won't be able to stay together. I would suggest that you prepare for the worst case scenario, if that is appropriate, and then you work out what you're going to do. Because at the end of the day, that's your decision, yeah?
The newlyweds will only come into Britain together if the husband can prove he's a genuine graduate. But it will take some convincing. Officer Weatherall has a thick file of evidence against the college that issued his qualifications.
We've encountered so many students from this particular college, and you know, at the end of the day, most of them have just admitted that they've never actually studied there at all. They've never gone to any classes. Some of them haven't actually ever been to the college. They just paid the money to get the certificate to get an extension of stay in the UK. Well, I've yet to encounter personally a student who has actually been to the college and studied there. He may be the first, you never know, stranger things have happened, but I'm not holding out much hope in this case. I'm just going to go through and interview you now, okay? So just follow me through this way. Just head in there, grab a seat on the far side. We haven't just stopped you on a hunch here. As I explained to you, we've got a lot of information about yourself and about the college and about the types of course that were on it, okay? And did you actually attend the Westminster College of Computing 4 days a week?
Yeah.
So how many modules did you take then?
I think 4.
What were they all called?
One is business work.
Business work.
Yeah.
That's a module in a postgraduate diploma is called business work.
Yeah.
Okay, next.
I can't remember.
So you can remember one of your 4 modules.
I can't remember.
Did you take exams? And I'm guessing you can probably only remember 1 or 2. Can't remember anything? Not even the ones that you mentioned before?
No.
This is a 45-page document, yeah? I've got 45 pages there which prove to me that any degree that obtained from Westminster College of Computing is completely bogus. You need to start being very honest with me, or you're going to have a much bigger problem than you do now. You haven't, sir. I don't believe you.
I swear to God.
The fact is, looking back through the colleges you've studied at, all of them are known to immigration for being problem colleges. So I have real issues with the fact that you've ever studied here at all.
I've done some computer course as well.
Here or?
Oh yeah.
When were they?
That was in Stowaways, I think.
College. Another college that's been closed down for issuing bogus certificates.
Is it?
Yeah. It's not looking good for you, is it?
Coming up, clandestines up their game in Calais.
They've taken the slats from the side of the lorry and then repositioned the boxes back across the top of themselves.
And the newlyweds face an early separation at Heathrow.
I'm not happy with you. You will be detained by immigration until we get to the bottom of it, okay?
At Terminal 3, it's not looking good for the newlyweds who hope to enter Britain together. The husband, a serial student of bogus colleges, has said nothing in interview to convince Officer Weatherall he's a genuine graduate.
We're happy with your wife, she's going to be allowed through. She's not going to be allowed to stay with you. I'm not happy with you, you will be detained by immigration until we get to the bottom of it, okay? So you need to decide where she's going to go. That's your problem, not mine, okay?
Before deciding the passenger's fate, Officer Weatherall must refer the case to his Chief Immigration Officer, Mo Ghaffar.
Basically, I don't believe a word he's saying. Yeah, I mean, bottom line, I think he's lying through his teeth. I don't believe a word he's told me.
I think we've got substantial information in relation to the fact that he studied at an institution that has closed down. We'll land his wife, and then we'll go from there. All right, Timothy, thanks, thank you.
Okay, right, I spoke to my Chief Immigration Officer. Your wife, we're happy to allow to proceed. She's going to be landed, she's been granted leave to enter. With regards to yourself, the decision's been taken by myself and the Chief Immigration Officer to refuse you entry into the UK today, okay, and to cancel your UK residence permit. You have the right to appeal in country, or you have the right to appeal from Bangladesh. That choice is up to you.
The husband chooses to appeal from the UK. This usually means being held in a detention centre while the appeal is considered, but there are exceptions.
Considering that he has his wife with him, it seems only reasonable to give him temporary admission. I don't consider him to be an absconder at this stage, and if he wishes to fight his case, then let him take his chances in court. She probably doesn't even know what the husband's been up to in the United Kingdom. She didn't expect to be stopped at immigration control and then be asked questions by an immigration officer as to why she was coming to the UK. If I was the wife of this particular passenger, I'd be pretty upset. I'd be asking my husband, what have you been doing?
The husband is granted temporary admission, but he loses his appeal and is put on a flight back to Bangladesh. In Calais, the trucks keep on coming. They bring 20 million tons of freight through the port every year. Rich pickings for migrants intent on getting into the UK illegally. Not every truck can be searched, and no one knows how many clandestines make it across the channel. But 19,000 a year get caught at the Calais checkpoints. With so many failing, they look for ever more ingenious methods of concealment. And the search teams have to get wise to them.
We've come in the lorry, and as you can see, there's a flat load in here. Obviously, there's a distinct smell of clandestines. So we just had a quick look on further inspection. Underneath the boxes here, you'll just see that we've got a purpose-built hide. Probably the illegals have made themselves. They've taken the slats from the side of the lorry and then obviously repositioned the boxes back across the top of themselves. All right there, gentlemen. Where are you from? Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran? Afghanistan. Speak English? No, speak English. You speak a little bit, don't you? Yeah, which one of you speaks English? Gentlemen, hello? Take your hoods down.
Okay, what we've actually got in there is officers went in, the load is flat, but there's a strong smell that we tend to get with the clandestines.
As soon as we undid the back door, you get the smell of the illegals. It's an unwashed bonfire smell. These people have been living rough for months, so you know you generally get that nasty odour. But yeah, it's always the giveaway. Someone's smoking.
Put it out.
Put that out. Wherever you're smoking, put that out. Wait,
put it out.
Whoever that is, put that out. Come on, first one.
You stay here.
Chef, how you come on, mate?
Come on, out.
There are 6 clandestines, all from Afghanistan. It looks like some of them are trying to get to Britain on a regular, perhaps even daily basis.
I think he was one of our 17 yesterday, Tam. Tam, the next one coming out? Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, he was. The last clandestine that's just come out was one that we detected in a find of 17 in the yoghurt lorry yesterday. He's got yoghurt on the back of his coat and his trousers.
Okay, give me your foot. Good foot. Take a good one. And away you go.
We see the same clandestines regularly. Not every day, but we might see them over a week or 2 week period. We might see them 2 or 3 times. At the moment we're seeing people and they're telling us that they've been living in the jungle for anything up to a year at the moment. They're still here, we're still finding them, so we will see the same people time and time again.
Fines served on the freight company and driver add up to more than £6,000. But the clandestines are yet again free to leave the port and return to the jungle. And as the search teams can't check every truck, and with clandestines trying their luck every day, there'll always be some who slip through the net and enter Britain illegally.